What is going on, all my agents out there? Thank you guys for joining me back here again. We are bringing that hotness like always. And, if you're watching the stream earlier today, we did a little Star Atlas. We're switching it up. We're bringing on a special guest right now, and we're going to be doing a brand new tier list with one of my favorites. And you guys know him. I know him. We all love him. Brycent.
Yo, what's up, Stash? Thank you so much for having me on the show. I mean, you're crushing it. You're one of the leaders in the space. I've been seeing the list. I saw Axie Spike's list a little bit ago. So I was like, damn, all right. And whenever I get my chance to come on here, hopefully I can ruffle a couple feathers because, I definitely don't want to keep any of my opinions near and dear to my heart. I want to express those so you guys know what's good and what's shit.
I feel that, man. I try and keep it real here too. I've been doing it for a long time, and sometimes people are
Thanks.
like, "But Stash, aren't you invested in that game?" And I go, "Yeah." So, I mean, sometimes you just have to tell it like it is, and that's what I mean. That's number one, right? The investment comes later. All the other things are great, But honestly, the sign of a good game is and a good development team is they can take that kind of criticism, right? I can be a staunch supporter of what they're doing, and then still say, hey, but you know what? There's room for improvement, or these things I'm not liking. And they can take that back, and they can understand that it's constructive criticism and not as just like straight dumping on their game. I know a lot of people like to do that. It's very popular in gaming. A lot of people like to just straight dump on all these companies. Yep. But, I prefer constructive criticism when I can, unless the game is just complete shit, and then I'll dump all over that damn thing.
No, I mean, I feel that. I think that ultimately we are in a space where there wasn't that many good games, still probably not that many good ones. But you know how it is. As soon as you tweet or make a list or talk about one thing, you got a bunch of people in the comments like, oh, what about my game and this game? Like, dude, just shut the hell up. If I thought the game was good enough, I would have put it on the list. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. And let me just preface what we're doing here and tell everybody a couple of things. We can only include so many games in the list. Otherwise, we'd be here for hours. So we have 25 games. All these games are playable in some sort of state, whether they're in like a closed beta state that's playable, or it's totally open, or whatever it may be. But they can all be played, right, in some sort of a form for the most part, right? Second, nobody paid to be here. No projects paid to be here. This is not a sponsored thing. We just like to do this for fun. I did this tier list a couple months ago. I thought it was a lot of fun. People liked it, and then I was like, I doing another tier list by myself was a little boring. I've rated these games, but we could rate them again, sure. But what if I brought a guest on and we had some fun doing it? And I like bringing people on and hanging out. It's cool to socialize, mix it up, and build that kind of community amongst Web3 gamers, right? I mean, because we're a small group. We're a small group of people.
Very much so.
Not a lot of us out there.
I'm excited.
So, yeah. So without further ado, let's jump into this bitch.
Ooh, we got a list here.
All right. So this is it. So, like I said, what we do is we'll maybe you got like a minute per project, maybe 2 minutes, depending on if you want to wax poetically a bit on one of these that you really like.
Yeah.
We're going to go through. We got to rank them. We're going to rank them from S tier all the way down to wrecked R tier.
Okay. There's some games on the list I haven't jumped into as well. I'm excited.
That's it. Yeah. So, and you know what? Sometimes people are like, but why are you giving them games? This is a question we get all the time. Why are you giving them games to rank that they've never played or they don't know that much about? And let me tell you the reason for this, right? We're all gamers. We're all avid gamers who've been gaming for a very long time, guys. We've seen a lot. We know a lot. And what I will say is that when you look at this, and sometimes, Brycent may jump on and just quickly, glances in these games as we're trying to rank them. Think about this as a person who's never heard of these games either. That you're getting this very first impression, right? So maybe he just jumps on the website real quick and is like, oh, I don't know this game, jumps on the website, gets the first impression that you would be getting if you'd never heard of the game either. And there's actual value to that as well, versus being very well versed in the game and knowing it and played it and loved it and done whatever, right? So I think that both opinions on both sides can really yield some great feedback. That's how I look at it. I don't know how you see it, Brycent, but that's how I look at it, man.
No, I think the same way. I think your first impression of a game is very important. And not only that, it's like a telltale sign of how one of the major pillars of, I would say, business development and user retention is kind of prevalent. If I look at something and I'm like, okay, I don't want to get past this first stage, then a game should be able to take a metric back and say, out of a list of 100,000 users that visited our website, 78% of them did not touch anything beyond the homepage. They immediately left. Okay, now that's a strong enough metrics to know that, hey, there's something about our homepage that isn't even getting people to the game, and it's important to understand that.
Yes, exactly, man. There's so many factors that kind of go into that first look, right? You got seconds, sometimes less than a second, to grab somebody's attention and get them to continue scrolling or to go further, to click play, maybe purchase an NFT, all those things. You don't have a lot of time to do that. So a lot of good feedback I think we're going to get here from this in general. Yeah. And I'm excited to get started. So the way we kind of do this is we kind of ping pong back and forth. We'll start at the top of the list, then go back to the bottom, and then just I don't do it in particular order. We go with
I'm with it. Let's do it. Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
And okay, I'll say this again. Someone asked what factors were used in coming up with this list. I tried to pick games that were all playable. Most of them, I mean, almost every game on here is playable, and they've been around for a certain amount of time. But we could only pick 25, man. So I didn't have, not like there's a ton of criteria, but these are all games that are out there that people that played. That's a good variety of different types of games. So it's not just one style, and so yeah, and then we change it up every once in a while, and depending on the guests and things like that, maybe they have recommendations. So that's kind of how we pick these. But once again, no paid actors here. We're just doing this shit for fun. So take that shit with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and don't get mad if I don't want to see anybody getting mad in the chat if you see me rate games harshly. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm going to rate games incredibly harshly, and I'm going to rate them as if they're compared against the top game in their category in Web 2. So you probably won't see any S tier games for me. Maybe one if you're lucky, but there's a very low chance of it. I'm going to be very harsh and real. So that way, if any game devs are watching this, they can go back and look and say, on Stash's channel, people kept it real. They weren't paid to do so. And we got some insights and feedback as to what we need to improve on our game to actually make it sustainable. We're not building for today. We're building for the next bull market and the next run of gamers that are coming into the space.
That's what I'm talking about, man. And, Spike did the same thing. He was like, I want to rate these based upon, not just within the Web3 ecosystem, but again, just against every other game, which I think is fair. I mean, if we were just going to say, well, within Web3, how do they rate? I mean, that might be different, right? That might be different. All right. Without further ado, let's do this. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. Alien Worlds.
Oh,
what do you know about it? What do you think?
I know it's one of the I think it might be the most popular or one of the most popular games in the space currently. I'm definitely thinking lower side of the list. If I have not played it, but from what I know, it's very much kind of like, it's not an action-packed game. It's more so like a farming style game, or if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, I can't give you too much information, but I'll give you a little hint here, because I can't rate them for you. But I will say you're right. It's a passive clicker style of game. Definitely
that's what I meant.
Like, no active gameplay.
Yeah, I didn't really know where to how to describe that, but I mean, I'm putting it in the D category. Not a big fan of the passive clickers. Don't care too much about the current user base. It's still very much predicated on okay, what a token looks like and the skill model and all this stuff that I'm personally not interested in. So yeah, it'd probably sit at a D for me regardless of user base currently.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, Alien Worlds, when they first launched, it was one of the early games. They had some potential. They squandered it, man. A lot like Axie, I feel. They had a good lead. They were doing really well, and they just couldn't develop enough. They just couldn't get something out that was actually like a playable style game, which they promised. There's supposed to be this whole Thunderdome. Anyways, large player base, but a lot of it's probably botted, because one of those just, come back every couple hours, click mine. Or send your ships out on missions. It's 3 weeks. They come back. You got some profit, and so that,
there's not much. There's not much there.
So there's not a lot of gameplay there. All right, moving on. This is what I actually enjoyed, but I'm not going to tell you what I ranked it. The Walking Dead Empires. I know you played it.
Oh, I did. I didn't play in the larger creator play test. I played it out in Malta. It seemed interesting. You can run around. Got some cool mechanics going. I think that Gal is doing some dope stuff. For me, it's not a game I'm going to play on a regular basis. Probably not a game I'd play on a monthly basis, or honestly any type of real cadence. So it's probably in the C category for myself. I will say it plays very well. So it's not in the C category because I don't think the gameplay is decent. It's in the C category because it isn't something that is appealing to me. It kind of has a MOBA feel, and in terms of like MOBAs in comparison, it's not something I'm going to jump into. So I got it as a C.
Okay. Yeah, that's solid. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I love The Walking Dead, man. I played like the Telltale. Yeah, dude. I played the Telltale games, man. A lot of fun, and I watched the series for I think until almost season 9, and then I got a little disinterested. I was like, all right, this shit's kind of rolling off the rails. Are you a fan of The Walking Dead in general, or no?
I actually love the show. I watched it up to like season 5, and it just kept going. And I got to the point where like they killed off some characters I liked, and I was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this to myself. It was a very, very good show, and I think the game can actually do some things. But you know how it is when when movies become games, like they do get a little bit of buzz, but it's never like anything that is considered longevity. I think that it'd be more impressive. I'm not sure if it's going to be mobile, but if it was just solely mobile, I think it'd be more impressive there. But yeah, I mean, they're building something dope there. I will say it was a very enjoyable experience. Just not when I think S tier and A tier, I'm thinking like your Valorants. I'm thinking like games where I'm like, holy shit, I could dump hours into this and like it's going to be exceptional. So to be honest, a C isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, like I said,
where did you
like
rate
the
this at?
gameplay. It's really basic game. I mean, like the basic game loop is there. You know what I'm saying? It's there, which is great. And they're gonna add some more stuff. I like the whole survival, build your base thing, and then forage for thing, and then you're going around killing zombies. I mean, in general, I think it has great mobile playability. I'm not a huge mobile gamer, but I mean, this thing on mobile could definitely, I think, do a lot of things. So, but anyways, I think I maybe gave it a B because I just like The Walking Dead. So I kicked it on one or not.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's well polished.
Yeah, I could see it being a B as well. I'm fine with either of those rankings for that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just,
I'm not going to change. I'm still at a C.
Yeah, if you don't know the game, I can help. Kind of shed some light on it. But this is all your.
I love how you just leave me out here in the wilderness. I love how you leave me out there on an island, and you're just like, nope. I want nothing to do with this one.
Yeah. Well, then I can shit on whatever choice you make, whatever tier you give it, and then I look like the Shining Knight. It's all set up, man. No, all right, let's keep going and keep rocking. Ori.
Ooh, I actually really liked Rory. I thought that the auto battler kind of team fight, well, not team fight tactics, kind of like Voxy tactics game was like pretty decent. I will say like I'm more interested in like any sort of open world mode, and like playing the open world mode in their browser kind of like intrigues me enough to give this a B. So I'm putting it in the B category. I think it's like a combination of you have a new style game. You have like this world where they aren't really copying any other game, and they're looking to put in multiple sort of games within the ecosystem. The characters look cool. So for me, it's a B. I don't know what's going to be built out long term, but from what I've played of it, not the auto battler, but just running around and seeing how characters move, it's enough for me to put it in that B category where it's like, okay, this is really intriguing.
Yeah. I was kind of excited when they first launched this project and kind of talked about the art style and how it was going to be kind of a JRPG. And then I feel like when I saw the auto battle stuff, I in particular, I saw your footage and I was kind of like, this is not really, it doesn't feel like a JRPG to me. Like, I don't know. It didn't have that kind of vibe to it. And the hand painted background thing, all that stuff, I feel like they kind of like, were like, all right, I don't know, man, but
I just wanted to get something out.
World.
Yeah. No, I haven't, like the open world. I just ran around like where it's like you can run around before you jump into the auto battler part of the game.
Yeah.
You can run around with the character and shit. And I was just like, yo, that's actually sick. So I'm literally basing it on potential more so than it actually having like some sort of applicability out.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I'll have to give it a run. Maybe on the next update and see what's up there because, like I said, I like the general objective. I'm a big fan of JRPGs, and so when I heard that, I was like, all right, that sounds cool, but I feel like they didn't really hit the genre. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I feel that.
All right, Undead Blocks. What do you think about Undead Blocks?
Man, I think this is a really, really good one. I think that the team behind it is solid. They have a really good idea. I think I wonder often is like, could the game loop get a little stale with like just killing zombies over and over again? That kind of killed the Call of Duty zombies era.
Right.
But I think there's enough there. Like if they continue building it to, I'm kind of torn between an A and a B here. Cause I'm like, the game's good. This one's kind of tough. I don't know if I want to give it an A. So I'm very like, maybe it goes in the B category. I think it has to go in the B. I think it has to go in the B category. I can't give it an A. It's good, but like, I still just think, I feel like A is just, it's up there. For me, A is close to S, or maybe S is just like so far up where it's like my expectations are too high. But I guess if I had to put it, it is better than the Rory, so I'll put it in the A bucket. I'll give it an A. I'll be kind to it.
One A?
I'll be
All
kind.
Right.
I'll be kind.
No, wait, hold on. You said you were going to be vicious, and now we got fluffy, kind Brycent,
I mean,
and not vicious.
I feel like
bunny Brycent?
No. I feel like it needs to be a B. Like, I feel like it needs to be a B more than an A. Take it to the B category, because
all right, dropping it back.
It is
don't
a very.
Me sway you, though,
I'm leaving it B.
Don't let me.
No, you're not swaying me.
All right.
You're not swaying me, because like my thoughts are, okay, there's like 30% of my life wants to give it an A. The other like 70 thinks it's a B category game. I think it could be better as like, things progress, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. So for me, it's a B.
Sure. Yeah. I feel that, I think that's a solid rating. I like the gameplay. I think it is fun and it's engaging, especially with the tournaments.
Yeah,
you're right. I think the game loop, how long can you hold someone's attention with something like this? I mean, I guess if you're giving away 10 Gs every weekend, maybe that works. But that's probably not. I mean, unless you got sponsors every weekend to do it, that may not be the most sustainable. I think they'll build on this core loop that they have and make more things to do. Right, more like maps.
They'll have to get multiplayer.
Yeah, multiplayer. Yeah.
I don't want to keep shooting zombies. Like, let me shoot other people. Not real life people, guys. Just game people.
I think that's on the map. I think multiplayer is definitely on the map for them, and I'm sure that'll be one of the next updates we see.
Yeah, cool. That sounds good to me.
All right.
Oh, we're moving.
Here's a big one. Here's a big one. Axie Infinity. Where do you put Axie? I know you played it. I know you have much experience with Axie. I could have sworn maybe you rebranded from Axie Brycent to just Brycent. Is that not?
It was in December. No, I was never Axie Brycent. I was always Brycent, but I stopped playing the game like consistently in December. This is an interesting one because I originally played Axie because I liked I was a big Pokemon fan. I didn't know about scholarships back when I first started. It was just, I wanted Pokemon on the blockchain. I thought that shit was cool. The old battling mechanic was great. And that's what got me into the game. And it just so happened that I stumbled upon this thing that ended up blowing up, making my career in Web3 gaming. But I think that when you take into account, and I know people, I don't give a shit about Axie, people hating me for this like opinion on it. But when you take into account kind of what happened with the tokenomics of the game, and I think there was a deep precedent to build out this Ronin network, which I think could be great. But they put a lot of time and energy in building it instead of building the core game. And when they did get a new version of the game out, it was after hacks and after the cost of people losing retail gamers losing lots of money in these scholar models that they inadvertently. I wouldn't say inadvertently. I'd say they perpetuated scholar models, regardless of if they said they used the messaging or not. So for myself, I think I put it in the wreck category because ultimately I thought V2 was a good game. I thought like the scholar model isn't what killed Axie. I think that the precedent that was set on the earning, the leveraging that messaging of earning, and then like when the time came to, we need to jump ship, it was like, we pretended like, this was all just, you have to understand that, none of this is financial advice and ultimately anything can happen and crypto is dangerous. Well, this was beyond just crypto. You got to take into account, for me, putting this game in the wreck category is because the sentiment publicly for the game outside of Web3 will not, and it could one day, I'm not going to say it can't, but in the near to immediate future, maybe next 2 to 3 years, it will always be marred by everything that went poorly in Axie Infinity. And for myself, I'm thankful for what Axie gave me because I wouldn't be here talking about Web3 gaming as a whole if it wasn't for my early start in Axie. But I think that we saw a lot of bad things happen in the process of all of us getting to the point of understanding that this wasn't like something that was sustainable. And then I don't think there was ever a moment where that team came out and truly apologized for what happened to a lot of people's income, and not the scholars. Because I think if you were a scholar and you were playing, you were earning great, like you did a wonderful job. I'm proud. I'm happy for you. I hope you got the bag. But there were a lot of people who invested in this game from a retail perspective and didn't think about it from what was this game. during V2 when it was just about gaming and esports and fun, like it was amazing. Once like these earning models and things really took like the most of the precedent, we saw the game completely change. So it hurts for me to put in the category. I watched AxieCon. I thought it was pretty interesting, but I think where the game currently is, it's wrecked. It could come out of wreck one day later, but play to earn made Axie Infinity for the most part. When I was in it, play to earn made my career. I took a conscious effort to shift and do something else. I was never paid by Axie Infinity. So I wanted to move on and do other things like playing other Web3 games. So from my perspective, like again, thankful for what happened in Axie, but ultimately I think it is definitely in the red category.
Yep, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, I think you said it beautifully, and I applaud you for actually, making that shift and understanding that this was not the direction you wanted to go. It wasn't the game that you wanted to support in that kind of way. Thankful for what they've done, and we still have to give them credit for the tracks they've laid, right? The tracks not to follow as a game. Like, hey, don't go this direction. It actually was like, woo, and their tracks are going this way, and everyone's like, oh, look at that path. Don't do that, guys. We're gonna go head over here. So yeah,
and then it was just like, okay, the Ronin Network launched, and it's almost a year since that launch. We haven't heard anything. Anyone who's holding the token is watching Immutable X and Polygon run laps around them and getting new games and partnerships while Ronin is doing absolutely nothing. So, from my perspective, there's just a lot of things to unpack there, and it's too much for me to not put it in that category. But again, people are still making money playing it, like competitive players, but it is more so a pay-to-win game. You pay and you craft these assets. They're trying to control the burning of SLP. And I do wish them nothing but the best. I hope the game pans out because I have friends who very much rely on that game, who run guilds and ecosystems still in the game. So, best of luck to them. But my personal opinion as a content creator, that's where I put the game. Don't really give a fuck who cares or doesn't care. I do my own shit. Axie doesn't pay me. They never have. So, ultimately, I am very thankful that I have my experience there. And yeah, that's where we put it.
Word. All right. Well, that puts the old knife in the coffin there. Let's move on to the next game here. Townstar. What do you think about Townstar? What do you know about it? Have you played it? Do you know it? Gala Games.
I know it's very much like a farmy style game. Very much kind of, I would say, play to earn ish. It's probably in the D pile. It's a D game. Only thing that stopped it from being in the rec pile was the fact that I like Gala Games, and I think that they do build dope stuff. I don't think that Townstar is a dope game at all. It's more so a farmer, so it's a D for me. Probably the same area as Alien Worlds. Like it has an audience. It's probably doing something somewhat decent. I'm not that in depth on the game, so forgive me for my ignorance. But it's not a game I'm gonna play. So that's where I put it.
I feel you. Not my type game either. I'm not a big fan of the farm simulator type of games, but I mean, it did have a pretty good audience, and they had play to earn working, and then they essentially draw back. They were like, "Oh, just kidding. No, we're turning the faucets off," and they're like, "No more play to earn." I mean, in my opinion, that makes it right.
Really?
But I mean, yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know that. See, that's why I need some more context. They basically put an accent, like drop it down one for me. I didn't know the extent. Yeah, that thing's in information. Put that thing in the dumps. That thing's in the dumpster. Thank you for giving me that extra info. Yeah, that thing is in the dumps.
It's sad, because you look at like Gala as a company. I think that they do a lot of things really well. And this is one of the games that like they produced this game. That what I'm saying, they developed this game along with Miranda. This is the two, and I think that they're kind of walking back and realizing they made a mistake in trying to be a developer, and they work much better as a publisher. And the whole thing with Townstar, the tokenomics just didn't work out, and they're like, we have to turn the faucet off. So that was pretty. And this
at least they turned it off
3 weeks ago. Yeah, just done.
Like at least they turned it off. Like
yeah.
So you just play for fun now.
The game anymore. So. You know what I'm saying? They just turn them off.
But then people get mad when I say play to earn is dead. Oh man.
What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? Here's what it is. All right. Moving on to some big boys. Big time.
Ooh.
How do you feel about big time?
That's one of the games I actually really enjoy. I think it's a pretty good game. They're shipping quite often. That's a game that's in the A category for me. I think they're doing things right. It's not an S tier game. They have a long, long way to go. But from what I've seen, the game loop does get a little bit like dry after a while doing the same thing, and very much the game staying in the A category will be very dependent on the lore. But I think for now it's an A. It's an A for me. I got to put it in the A category.
I think that's solid. I would agree with you. I actually really like this game too. I think that there's a solid gameplay loop. I love the visuals. It has a great visual style. It's very co-op dependent, which I actually do like. But then I find it hard, like trying to link up with some people and be like, all right, let's go do this. And like there's randos, and that's great. I think there needs to be some more gameplay loops. I think some stuff that kind of goes beyond what they have now, which I'm sure they'll get to. It's still in very early stages, and then maybe a little bit more solo play. I think some solo play would be great to add to it. So
I totally agree
with you. I think an A is solid. I think A is solid. Okay, let's move on to our next game here on the list, and we have Thetan Arena. This
wrecked. I thought the game had amazing gameplay, but nevertheless, it's fucking wrecked. Yeah, Thetan had some dope gameplay, but it's wrecked, dude. Like, had they not launched a token, they could have made one of the best mobile games that are MOBA that we would have seen. The game was ahead of its time, but the tokenomics were so bad. There's only one place on this list that it can go, and that's the wreck category.
Man, I'm right there with you. I gotta agree with this one, man. The gameplay is fun. It is a fun game to play, and I will say when you put it up to hold its candle up to the rest of the MOBA industry out there, right? The Web 2 traditional gaming, I think it stands. But then, you have the travesty of what they did with the tokenomics here to kick things off. It was just so bad. I mean, very rarely have we seen a game with this much polish tank with the tokenomics aspect so quickly. I was very surprised at how fast it happened. And I mean, I put money into it. I got characters I was playing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And it was so quick that it was like, all right, nosedive.
Right. Like, it's interesting.
And I know people still play it. And they're like, I just love playing it. They're like, I don't care about the earning aspect. I don't care about the NFT aspect. I don't care about any of those things. And I go, that's fine. And that's totally great. But unfortunately for me, I mean, that is a big, it's a big detractor in the long run. I totally agree. To me, I'm not confident in the team's ability to continue to make a great game if they can't get that right from the get-go.
It's actually quite unfortunate because I think that, like you said, it's a really, really fun game. Like, I made content on it. I enjoyed it, but I'm not a big mobile gamer. And then it's like, all right, people buying assets and they rugging it because they discount prices and a bunch of crap. Yep. Like, they had a good game. They didn't need tokens. I think they should have just made rare skins for the assets. Like for the in-game characters, the characters should have been free to play, and then you just like unlock rare skins depending on like where you place in some sort of battle pass, and have it to where you buy them maybe the battle pass for a couple of bucks every season, and it could have been a great game. They still could potentially move to that model, but it's just like the tokens are just in the dirt. Like it sucks, but I really think there was something good there.
No, I agree, man. And, it's once again, it's one of those things that we can use as a lesson, right? Here's what not to do. Don't tank your game because of these horrible tokenomics. Maybe introduce them in a more staged fashion when things are more stable. They try to come out the gate with this and they just didn't have it right. And it totally, turned off, I think, a lot of people because of that. I mean, they still claim they have like millions of people playing this game. I don't know if that's true. I know people still playing it. Like I said, can be fun, but the tokenomics definitely messed up, and it hurt me. I lost money because of it. I put some money into this in the beginning, and then boom, it was gone. So yeah, I would agree with you with the wrecked rating here, sir.
Millions of gamers playing. Oh, brother, we've heard that story before.
That's what they claim. They claim they don't have any blockchain data to back it up, but they claim millions. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a good one though. I love talking about Thetan sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still think it's good gameplay, and I haven't jumped into it in probably a couple of months now. But like I said, gameplay is solid, blockchain aspects of it, and some other things, tokenomics, economy, just complete crap. And that can kill any game, whether it's a blockchain based Web3 game or not. Now, I played MMORPGs 100%. Where the exact same thing happened, and it's just like, all the time you spent, all this effort, and then boom, they killed the economy. Well, what are you gonna do?
Oh, this time brother, it just happened to be
Arena. Yeah, it just affected
we got a
real
good
money.
One next. I see where that cursor's going.
All right, all right. So look, we're going to Superior. What do you think about Superior?
A. Immediate
Gala
A.
Games.
Immediate A.
Quick
That
A.
might be the best baby. That's the best baby Gala Games has ever birthed so far. And I know there's some other games on the list, but that game is fun. It's cooperative. If they add storyline, it can be even better. I think you could go ahead and add a multiplayer mode where you're fighting other players. There's just a lot there. That game's an A for me. I don't even have anything else to say because I'm bullish on it. I'm not being paid by Gala, by the way. I'm not on chain gaming. I love Jake.
I'm right there with you. I really like Superior, man. I would actually, out of all these games, it goes in my S tier. It really does. I think that it has the polish.
It's a great game, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It has the polish that you expect from a AAA game, and it's not even done. It feels good. The controls are good. The characters are good. It's funny. Like that stupid robot, man. That dude is funny, man. He's got jokes and stuff.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying? Like, dude has jokes, and all those touches. All that polish is exactly what I expect. And I mean, and they're bringing out the blockchain elements to it very slowly. They start with just one NFT character drop and not trying to push massive sales on you like what we normally see from Gala, where they're just like, tons of sales, just load it on, just buy more shit.
They're like, hey, here's another. We're dropping another NFT asset. And when we were in Malta, it was another one, one.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, for me, S tier. I think out of all these games, it really goes in that category. But A, I think is solid, and it definitely deserves to be there. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about some of the ones we've ranked here? Would you put them higher or lower? Post in chat. I want to hear you guys' opinions.
Yeah, let me know. Let us know what you think. I'm gonna grab one of the people in the chat, and I'm gonna send you an NFT for my personal collection. I'm not gonna disclose which one it'll be, but someone in the chat is gonna win an NFT at the end of the stream.
There we go. And we got a question from Savage Santi. He's asking how can you play Superior? It's not. He hasn't found a way to play it. I have some keys for Superior. If it's in closed beta right now, you can get it on Epic Games, but you need a key for it. Just FYI, if you're at the senior agent level of YouTube memberships for my channel, you get access to all that kind of stuff. All the games that I get access to, you get to play with me and play those games. So all you gotta do is jump in that membership tier and get that, and we get all kinds of cool things in addition to that stuff. But yeah, that
doesn't get any better than that.
It's in that tier. It's in that tier. I could do what better than that?
No, I said it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, it doesn't get any better. I was like,
come on, bro.
I don't know. We're getting like agent only live streams. We get to play the game together, and you get closed access. Like we get all kinds of that. Anyway, it's a brand new thing with the YouTube membership stuff that we're trying out and seeing if people want to support the channel.
I love that.
So that's just one more game, the way to support the channel, have fun, be able to game with me and the rest of the senior agents and agents in our headquarters here. So, all right, let's move on to the next game, because this is a game that there's been some controversy about recently. I don't know. Have you seen the controversy here recently over this game, Blanco's Block Party? I know you play Blancos. I saw the stream.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do play Blancos, and I will disclose. I did the Brycent Cup. I said it. I said it multiple times. It was a sponsored thing. Blancos did not cover the prize pool. They paid me I would say a decent amount of money to stream Blancos for an hour. So this is how it went down. They offered me fair amount of money to stream Blancos for an hour. It wasn't an absurd amount of money. It was the first deal I'd ever taken. But I told them, of course, I don't want to shill anything. It's all about just games. So I took a portion of that sponsored money and created this Brycent Blancos Cup where we paid out $1,500 to gaming creators. I do think Blancos is a solid game. For me, it's got to be in that A tier category. I think they need to do a lot more if they want to catch Fall Guys. But this is me speaking as a gamer, not as someone who was paid to actually play the game. But I do think it's a very, very good game. One of the more polished ones they've been building for a long time. I hate the fact that they have so many NFT assets out there, and some of them you can't even withdraw some of them off of the site because of the way that their game is kind of set up. So that is one of the things you have to take into account. But I don't know the controversy stash, so if you could fill me in, that'd be great.
Well, it really comes down to, I think, traditional gamers. And, when this launched on Epic Game Store, it was just getting trashed in every major gaming magazine out there. I highlighted this last week on the NFT Beat, and we talked about how like PC Gamer and a bunch of other magazines were just like, this game is trash, it's snake oil, it's cash grabby, it's NFTs are the worst thing
It's
ever,
not.
and blockchain technology is horrible. And I'm like, this is a free to play game. You don't need to invest any money. The NFTs are not giving you any advantage in the game. You're not forced to buy NFTs to play it. Like I don't even get it. Like you could earn free NFTs and then sell them later if you wanted to. I mean, it was one of those things where like I don't really understand. Like they do some cool collaborations, but
people are
but some
ridiculous.
people seem to some people seem to have some sort of hate towards it. So
and
like,
it is the thing of news outlets always. I mean, I will say Top Shot. I'm not sitting there and grinding Blancos by myself. It is not a fun game to sit there and play alone. When I can set up a tournament with cool content creators who are like set up some sort of mini games with me and my homies, then yeah, it's a lot of fun. But that's how most games are. You're playing. You want to play with your friends. If you can find a game that's fun to play solo and like you can just grind it and it's good, that's probably a masterful game. Like Rocket League, I can play Rocket League by myself, jump into a lobby, and it's going to be fun because it's just the way the game is set up. But you can't get that with every game.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, I think Blancos was set up to be, it's very much a multiplayer game. So you're going in there and you're playing. Every time we go and play on stream, we always have a bunch of agents that'll jump in there. We'll jump on our party bus. We'll go and play the games together against other people. And they've made changes that I don't necessarily like either. Because I played it since the beginning. I was an early investor in Blancos.
You're OG,
the beta or alpha release of the NFTs, and there are some cool features that they did get rid of here recently that I was a little sad about. And I feel like maybe it affected gameplay in some negative ways, but they've made some changes that are also good too. So yeah, I mean, in general, I do think it is a solid game, though. I think it is a solid game if you like that type of game. So not everyone likes that type of game. Not everybody likes that type of game.
It's in my opinion, it is. If they allow the creator modes to actually, like the creative mode where you can create your own maps, to do more and like expand the brawl mode to where you're not just playing random maps, like allow you to like play other styles of games, because mostly you just get races or vibes. I hate the vibes game mode, but
me too. I hate vibes, man. It's like my worst one. I'm like, gosh, come on.
It's like, it gives me bad vibes, I think they add a couple more features. It's already close or comparable to Fall Guys. And if you're someone who enjoys like the whole ethos of Web3 and owning skins and all this, then it puts it, in my opinion, like right on point. So for me, that's why I justified in the A category over a B.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I love the shooting aspect of it with the racing aspect. The vibe's not my most favorite thing. And yeah, that was the focus before. They had a lot more focus on creator maps, on player created maps, because there's actually a really great map creator that people were doing. And then we got to a point where it's like, they just downgraded that, and they don't, it's not incorporated into the game really anymore. And I'm like, that kind of sucks. And, I felt like a little sad about that, man, because I really love that. And I love supporting these other people doing their own maps, and it created a lot of diversity. And now we don't have those like filtered in anymore. And it's kind of sad. Oh, Francesca in chat is a huge Thetan Arena player, and she's all mad because you wrecked Thetan Arena.
I will say this, Francesca. I love the gameplay of Thetan. If you go back and look at one of my earlier YouTube videos, it was one of the games that I said was really good. They just wrecked it because of the tokenomics. The gameplay is sick. I have no argument. Gameplay-wise, it is one of, if not the best mobile games in the space, no doubt.
But you got to have the whole package, man. If you're coming with Web3 and you want to do Web3, you got to have the whole package. You can't just have having the fun game is one of the most important things. But then if you totally screw the tokenomics up, and you're not going to make it the long term, man. And maybe they just get rid of them. Get rid of all the tokens.
I mean, that's why that's another reason why I have Axie in that category. If you take Axie and you get rid of all of the tokenomics and the BS around like the play to earn and all that, and just look at the new UI they put out, it is a very interestingly good looking card game. Like, it is very interestingly good looking. But you got to have both, like Stash said. You can't just get by with one or the other.
Yeah. Yep. It's a must to be able to do both well. All right. Moving on. We did Blancos. We're going to Splinterlands. What do you think about Splinterlands?
C.
Going C. Now, you're not much of a car player, right? You don't like car like TCGs, right?
There's only a couple that I really enjoyed. I don't know if Gwent was considered one, but I really loved Gwent.
That's a
I thought Splinterlands. I thought Splinterlands was okay at best for me. Like, I know they have tons of users, and I'm gonna get hate in the chat because people love it or whatever the case may be. But when we're talking about like the list of games that I would play and like comparing it to, if I'm comparing Splinterland to I guess like the top game, Hearthstone or Gwent or something that's in Web 2,
Yeah,
I'm not
MTG
picking
Arena.
it over that. I probably would still play. I'd probably still play. What's it? The other one, Gods Unchained. I think they're both kind of like same category. Now I will say like it's still a decent game. It's just not something I'm waking up and like saying, "Damn, bro, I can't wait to grind that Splinterlands."
Yeah, yeah. So we got Jesse in chat, or AKA Aggroed, and he's the CEO of Splinterlands. He's giving you a thumb down. He says, "Boo." I like Splinterlands. You know, I love TCGs, you know, in general, and I've been playing Splinterlands since the beginning. It is one of those games where, like, you know, when you get to the higher level, it is actually a lot more fun. I run a guild there. I enjoy it. I feel like out of all the games that we've seen, they've done the best with you know, tokenomics balance and earning balance. Like when you talk about night and day for Axie versus Splinterlands, I think they've done a masterful job.
Oh no, I think they're eons clear of Axie Infinity. And I also think that like you got to take into account I've played like 3 games of Splinterlands all time. I mean, I'm open to having more conversations about it, but right now it's a C for me. It's not bad. It's not great. It's like, okay, this is a good game. It's like it's the right in that middle area. Like I don't consider C a bad thing either because I don't see any of these games getting an S. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you know, it's one of those games. It's not for everybody. You know, there is an auto battle aspect to it, right? It puts it in a different category for me than like a traditional TCG like Hearthstone, Gods Unchained, Magic the Gathering Arena. So there is that aspect there. What I do really like about it actually is the casual aspect of it. I can pick it up and it's super easy to jump into for a few minutes. You can do it on mobile too.
Really?
And
I was confused when I jumped into it, dude.
Well,
after you've been playing for a while.
It's not easy to learn. That I will definitely say they need to improve.
That's probably why. That is probably why I did not enjoy it. Make that shit easier for me to pick up. Like I understand, like I'm lazy.
That is one of my biggest complaints about Splinterlands. The new user experience is not quality. Like there's not. I mean, there's people that do streams like that, but like the hand holding and like learning the game, you have to do a lot of it on your own, or like, you know, hook up with streamers like myself or Bulldog, who does a great job. But there just isn't enough like built-in onboarding that really helps people to understand how to play the game and to kind of like move along the progressions. You have to just kind of figure a lot of that out. But once you do, and once you're playing the game, like, you know, I've been playing it for years now. I mean, it's easy for me to like just pick up and to like just boo, 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 and I actually really enjoy it. So it's one of those games to just quickly jump into. But there are improvements they can make, and there's some things they've done recently that I'm not a super huge fan of. But I think in general the team is really solid, and they've created some of the best play to earn mechanics that we've seen so far. So I would probably put it like in the B tier or A tier at least. Yeah, is where I would put it.
I feel that. No, I definitely feel that. Like I said, it was confusing for me to pick up and play. Hopefully that's like good feedback for the team. Like I said, I'm probably not your target audience for card games anyway. I'm an FPS player at heart. I just happened to stumble upon Axie when I did, and I liked it because of Pokemon. But it only had 4 cards. The game was quite simple at the time I was playing it. Now Axie has like 80 different charms and runes and spells, and it's getting complicated.
Yeah, that's true. And that's any TCG. You know, when you look at any type of card game, it's all pay to win. Every card game ever that exists has always been pay to win. The original Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering Arena, Hearthstone, all of them.
Yeah,
they're all like that. And you know, then they keep expanding and it gets more and more complicated. That's just literally the nature of what a TCG is. So that's an aspect too that, you know, you just have to kind of roll with the punches. You know, roll with the punches. All right, moving on. We've said enough about Splinterlands. Dead Drop. I know me and you are both playing this game. We're both variants. What do you think? Where do we put it?
S.
Dead Drop going S.
Yep.
The only S so far. Tell us why.
I just think that when you look at all of the dynamics, and like I said, I'm biased because I'm an FPS guy. When you look at the dynamics, distribution, Dr. Disrespect is more known than probably all of Web3 combined when it comes to gaming. He has the largest distribution funnel of any Web3 company right now in the gaming space. On top of that, they're releasing new updates every 6 weeks. I think the game is sick. I don't want to sound like a shill. For me, it's an S. It's a no-brainer. If you want to have exposure from an investment standpoint, I'd highly recommend at least checking out 12 a.m. Studios and what they're doing, because most people don't even realize they're like their NFT is a governance token, and most people haven't even caught on to that one yet.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like the way they've launched and what they're doing. I've had a lot of fun actually playing the snapshots. I'm going to be playing another one tomorrow, with the brand new snapshot number 3 tomorrow with the devs. So make sure you guys watch for that at 4 p.m. Pacific, same time that we did this stream tomorrow. So make sure you watch that. I would also give it an S. I really like what's going on. I think that out of all these games, it has the potential to reach the biggest audience when you have big names like that behind it. And so far, what they've done with the inclusion of NFTs and the way they've staged it, I mean, I think they're doing everything right. They're checking all the boxes across the board. So
yeah. And to your point, like, I think that ultimately how you ship and execute is very, very important. And there are things I don't like about Dead Drop, but dude, they gave us a multiplayer game in I would say what Snapshot 2 was multiplayer, or was it Snapshot 2 or Snapshot? Yeah. Like, look how quick that happened. Like, for me, that's a level of shipping that by the time you get to Snapshot 12, what the hell would that game look like? It'll be nuts.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. I don't know what to expect for this next snapshot because they didn't tell me. They just said, "Hey, let's jump on. We'll get the devs on. You'll play with them, and then so I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm assuming there's going to be some significant progress because every time there's been something big that they've released. So I'm excited about that, and I'm right there with you. And for those that are asking about how you get in access, you have to have a variant NFT. It's one of their founders NFTs. You can find them on OpenSea. Just search Midnight Society.
So many of those.
Yeah, you just search Midnight Society, and boom, they're right there, and that gets you access to the game early on, and you could be a founder. Yeah. So, all right, let's go and move on to the next game. Spider Tanks, also a MOBA. What do you think about Spider Tanks?
It's a C. I played that one. It's a MOBA, but it wasn't like. It was kind of weird. Like I was like, all right, it's interesting. Like I know there's like a pro scene and there's tons of like aspects that are really cool. Graphics are amazing, but it does fall into that list for me. It's like I can touch it once and never play it again, and I am absolutely fine. But like it has to be a very engaging MOBA for me to want to touch it once and play it again.
Yeah. I got you. I will say, like, in particular, Spider Tanks, Gala Games, they've done a lot of sales. They've really milked the community, I feel, with Spider Tanks. But in general, I actually really like the gameplay. If I'm going to, like, pick one between Spider Tanks and Thetan Arena, I'd probably pick Spider Tanks. I just like the feel of the game. I like how it moves. I like the characters. I like being able to switch the tanks up in the different parts. I think it made a lot of sense to me as well. I would probably be rating it about the same, either a C or a B. For Spider Tanks. The thing that obviously detracts me a little bit is just how many sales Gala just keeps pumping out for some of these games and like them not being in full release. It's just sale after sale. I'm like, they're like, all right, we got tanks and we got more tanks and we got these limited edition tanks. Now we got planets. Now we're doing that. Like, I get it, man, but like, there's things that I wish they could work on first before they pushed all these sales on there. And that's one thing that does detract a little bit from me.
I feel that. Give me all of it. Give me all the sales. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, the sales they're egregious sometimes.
It can be. All right, let's go to back to the front of the list. EV.io. Have you played? I think you've played this game, right?
Yeah, I have. For me, EV.io is a B. It's a B. It's like Halo, which is cool, but you got to take into account, dude. No one plays arena shooters that often anymore. Like if you think about like the world of like FPS, it has transformed from arena shooters maybe like 10 years ago to now everything is very much like depth drop style or battle royale style. So from my perspective, the game is good. It plays well. It's very accessible to everyone, which is what I love. But arena style shooters, I'm a little skeptical on them making a comeback. Halo's struggling right now, and I don't think EV.io is a better version of Halo. I think it's like a more accessible version of Halo, but there's still a big differentiator. And Halo is struggling for users. So I think B is where I want to put it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the level of accessibility that they give, where you can just literally jump in within seconds, you're playing a match. I like that, man. And I think it's polished enough, like going in and playing. A lot of polish there. They do a good job of making the features and the loadouts and things like that very easy to understand. When I go in there, it doesn't take a lot. I mean, like boom, boom, I got it done. It's all there. And, I do enjoy playing the game. I would agree with you. I think that, the long-term potential there, they need to come with some really fun stuff to really encourage that kind of play again. Because when the feel of it, to me, it feels a little dated. The gameplay feels a little dated in that kind of respect.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy playing it. I played it last week with one of the devs, and we had a fun time. I was getting smashed on here and there, but I was holding my own. I was holding my own in that game.
I feel that for
All right,
sure.
cool. Let's move on here. So we're gonna move on to what do we got here?
What is that
Shrapnel.
one?
Shrapnel. Now they just dropped a fire trailer today. I mean,
I
know you saw it, right?
Damn, the chat's gonna hate me again. I can't. It's A tier. It could have been S, but I haven't seen the real gameplay like out yet. I mean, I've kind of seen it, but I haven't seen it. I've not seen it. But it's an A tier game. It's gonna be really, really good. It's probably the best competitor Dead Drop has right now. And it is also a game that's being built. Only thing I don't know too much about the AVAX blockchain, so I'm kind of skeptical in terms of like what adoption looks like there. But apparently, it's pretty big. So I think it's an A tier game. I think that even though there is no game out yet, there is enough of me knowing it. And granted, I'm biased because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some of the gameplay. It looks pretty solid. So I think it's gonna be A tier. It is a little early, so it's kind of like, oh, why are you putting a game that hasn't launched into this category? But I'll take that. I'll take it.
So I feel you. And this is the only game on here that it had that people widely haven't been able to play, like in a closed test, or some of us, gamers here in Web3, we haven't got to play it necessarily yet, but that is on the horizon. And I wanted to include it today because they had that really amazing trailer drop, and I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts about it and see what people in chat thought. This is probably the only one that really doesn't have like actual gameplay that you can go and play right now, whether that's closed or not, really, But definitely excited to see that
because I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, but not played it. See, not me too. Seen it, but not played it yet. So, but man, that trailer was like super engaging. Like watching that, I actually it got me excited because I understood without them having to say anything about what the game was kind of about, and then already made me kind of care for the character, like just like the whole thing. Like it was like, oh, I get this, man. This is cool, man. It really, like, some of the things I saw in there was like really. So I love that ballistic, that blow up ballistic shield that he put out.
Yeah,
threw the grenade and it was like, and then boom, and I was like, man, that's hot right there. I can't wait to do that in game.
100%.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on and let's head over to Forge Arena. Do you know Forge Arena?
I don't know. I know it's an FPS
game store as well.
I don't know much about. I know it's an FPS, but I have not played it. From what I have heard, though, it's really, really solid. So for me, it's a B. It could be an A, but I have not played it, so I don't want to put it too far up. I haven't even seen like gameplay, so I'm just going off of thoughts of what I've seen from other people and stuff like that. So it's a B game. I'm excited to hear that it's going on the Epic Game Store. But one thing I will say, Stash, is how long do we see everyone say, oh, we're all going on the Epic Game Store before that stops becoming news? And it just seems like, okay, Epic Games is just taking, like, it's just allowing it's not a partnership. It's Epic is basically saying, hey, we believe that there is some value in this category of gaming that Steam is not touching. So we're gonna take the chance of saying, regardless, we have Fortnite. Our audience isn't gonna care that we're letting new games on the store. They might not play them shits, but we're gonna put them on there anyway. So I mean, eventually, it's just a PR stunt to say we're on Epic Games. Like, it does not really mean much of anything. It doesn't mean you're going to see more adoption, because it could happen like Blankos, where it gets on Epic and then like the traditional gaming outlets just try to basically shun you out. So you never really know. But I think it's a B tier. I'm excited to like give it more of a go.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you with the whole Epic thing. And this is something I brought up to Spike last time we did a tier list together. Me and him did that tier list together. He was rating a lot of the games like, oh, well, what's their ability to get to like a big launcher like this? And what I will say is to play devil's advocate against that, because that's what I said last time to him. But to play devil's advocate this time, what I will say that it does, it gives a little bit of a stamp of quality approval. If Epic is going to allow it on the store, at least is meeting a certain tier of requirements, right? Whereas some games just in Web3 just wouldn't ever.
Yeah.
It would never make it.
Oh, and I actually want to make a correction. I have played Forge. I've actually made content on it. I had it mixed up, the name, with another game, because I didn't put the naming conventions together because there's so many like Web3 games. But
another one,
yeah. So I have played Forge. It's a really, really smooth game. The game plays incredibly smooth. So I think it's probably the best B tier game on the list in terms of like smoothness of gameplay.
Yeah, yeah, I like Forge Arena. I think they did a good job with having a fun gameplay, incorporating NFTs in a way that are very accessible. It's on the Wax blockchain, one of my faves. It does make it a little
Ooh.
hard for people to get in, especially when it was in the kind of a closed beta state. But I think now that it's going to be launching on Epic Games, the accessibility for it is going to be a lot higher. So that's great. I'm excited about that. All right, going to the back of the list, Sandbox. A little different than all the games on here. More of like a Roblox like player, but like, what do you think about Sandbox?
Honestly, I think in the current state, it's not that fun to play. I think it's a B because of the ecosystem and what they have. But I mean, I'm just walking around like role playing, just talking to people, and they'd like have me doing aimless tasks, like in the Walking Dead version of it, like the Walking Dead land. You talk to people, then go look at a wall, and it'd be like, yeah, go like reinforce this wall or something. And I was like, okay. So I mosey on over. But I think like it's cool to like move around and shit in the game, but it's not something I'm touching on a regular basis. So
Yeah,
I
right,
think
right,
it's basing it as a B off of the technology and the fact that it could get some cool adoption. But the game is eons away from it being something like relevant.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't know. I disagree with you here. I would actually put Sandbox at the A or the S tier, and the reason why is
Mm.
because of the way they're approaching this from the perspective of like, okay, well, where would you rank Roblox?
I mean, based on like what you can do in the game currently, it's Roblox is an A for me, but it's still a
Right.
ways away from it can get to Roblox level. I don't doubt
Yeah.
that. Like I think the actual gameplay and the movement and mechanics is great. I just don't think there's much applicability to do things right now. Is like my biggest issue with it. And I know that it'll happen more over time, but that's why I have it in the B category.
That's
Not
true.
because I don't think it's like it's a good game. I think that like they have the credibility. They're going to launch something really solid. It's just I played it on stream and was like, what am I supposed to do here? You know?
Yeah,
So I agree
I
with
mean,
you. It
I
could be
enjoy
an
running
A.
around. I get you. It's not an experience for everybody. The experience of things you're doing right now, most of them are pretty simple. Now, what I will say is there's a difference between the branded experiences that we see with things like The Walking Dead or like Rabbids that they've done. There's not a lot of gameplay
Yeah.
there. But if you go look at like the like independent experiences, the ones that won like game jams or other things like that, they've done actually a really
Yeah.
good job of having some fun gameplay that is actually engaging. I played
Really?
one that was like a retro arcade, and they made it to where your character was always it almost was like a side scroller. And so the way they
Yeah.
made the map, it was like a side scroller in their format. And like I played a Mario one, and I played like a kind of a Donkey Kong almost style one. And I was like, this is actually pretty innovative in like what they could do there, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm actually working on one that is a third person shooter. So I'm gonna have a shooter game, and like these are things you're not seeing
Interesting.
now. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's the
wait,
stuff
it's gonna
I don't know too much about.
it's gonna be hot, man. So we're looking to hopefully launch in the season 4 of the Sandbox with that game. But it will be it'll be like an espionage spy shooter, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna be an agent for the crypto intelligence agency, the agency I work for, and you're gonna help secret
Yeah.
agent Stash go on a mission, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So a lot different with what I think what the branded experiences are, because yeah, right now I would agree with you. Those branded experiences don't have. I mean, they look good, but there's not a lot of actual
Yeah. There's
gameplay.
just
It's like
nothing
go for
from
quests.
yeah, like and that's what most people probably run into. Like if you don't know the ecosystem and then you just jump in and you say, all right, I'm gonna jump into land, you're gonna pick land that like you
Yeah.
know. So you're gonna go to like one of these branded experiences and do nothing for 30 minutes and you're like, I'm not touching this again. So I think they need to like have some sort of experience to get gamers like to get them going. Because I was a bit like, all right, like kind of shell shocked after like jumping into it and being like, this is it.
Yeah. Gotcha Wade in the chat actually has a really good. He says Sandbox A for content creators, C for gamers right now. I could see that. I could feel that. Yeah, I could feel that.
I mean, I
And
don't
full
even think it's
disclosure,
an A for content.
I mean they do
Fair.
give you some really cool content creation stuff and some other things that they do and ways to monetize.
Oh, like actually
But
making maps or like
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
content creators to make
Making the
videos.
games, making the maps, making characters too, doing voxel art, which actually people are doing
Oh,
really
well,
well on too. So it's
oh,
kind of
okay.
cool.
See, I normally get it mixed. Like when someone says content, I'm thinking of what about streamers and YouTubers? That's what I think with content, not
Oh
like
yeah, no, I mean not no that is not. I mean, I stream Sandbox all the time, and they don't. There's not anything particularly special right now, but yeah, I think for the creation side of it, I would agree with that. And full disclosure, I am an ambassador for the Sandbox. But the fact of the
I
matter
want
is,
to be an ambassador.
I'm critical of them as well, of things they do and what they're coming out with, and that's kind of how I feel about it right now. I feel like the people who have done the independent stuff is a lot better than a lot of the branded experiences. But the brands are there, and they will be coming with more, experiences. And the way they roll it out, I think, is they've done a really good job when we talk about like what a metaverse is and what we're doing with metaverses. I think they've done the best job of really creating a metaverse.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of connected experiences that have interoperability, which is kind of nice.
for sure.
All right, moving right along.
We're getting through this list.
Getting through this. Grit.
That was a game I fell in love with at Gala. I fell in love with that game at Galaverse. Have not heard anything since Galaverse, but it played really, really well. It's for me. I gotta put it in the. I haven't heard anything about it, and that scares me. I'd put it in the. I can't really put it in the B category. I got to put it in C for right now because it's not there. It's like it's almost and it's a C. And we don't got to talk about it long because I think the gameplay is amazing. It's a C because I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know where the updates are. I haven't heard a thing. I can't put it in. I can't justify putting it on the same level as like Undead Blocks, Evi or Sandbox. Yeah. But it is a good, very, very good game. It was my most bullish game coming out of Galaverse. I just haven't heard anything about it, so that's why it's a C instead of a B.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of right there with you, man. I would rank this game a little higher, but we just haven't seen any updates. I was kind of surprised by it because, after Galaverse, I was like, man, this is gonna be, a fire game. And I thought, they already had gameplay there, so we would have like a closed test, and Gal would be like, hey, Brycent, Spike, Khaki, Stash, come in, let's do it, and nothing. Just nothing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
100%. And it could get like as soon as the game launches or like we get some, let us play the damn game. Give us a play test or put something out so I can actually rate this higher because it literally, outside of Dead Drop, is probably my second favorite game on this entire list. And I had to put it at a C because I don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see. They said they're working on NFT integration still. It's still here, but some people in chat saying it's still around. I don't think Gal is going anywhere either, but I did think that this would be a little further along, some sort of aspects of playtests and updates, but we haven't gotten many updates from the team, so it's kind of interesting. All right, going to the racing category. Have you played Rev Racing?
I haven't. I haven't. Interestingly enough, I've chatted with Animoca, who I think is one of their investors, and we talked about setting up a session for me to play it.
Yep.
I like racing games. I haven't played it in a while. I probably would put it in. I don't think it's a D, but I don't think it's a C either. Because
we can't give it a D plus or C minus.
I would put it in the C category. I feel more comfortable putting it there. I feel like D and Wrecked is like the game stands no chance of doing anything. I haven't played Rev Racing yet. But from what I know, there is something there. It might take a while to get to something, but as I dive deeper into that ecosystem, I'll probably be swayed in a different direction. But I think it's a C.
I would agree with you. I think C is pretty solid rating for it. The gameplay is like meh, and like I know they're gonna have some updates. It needs some work on the gameplay side of it. Like the graphics themselves they look dated. They're probably they look about 10 or 12 years old, if not a little bit more. So. I mean, so they can get there, but they definitely need some more polish. My opinion. All right, Guild of Guardians. What do you think? Are you a big mobile gamer?
Guild of Guardians. I'm not a huge mobile gamer, but that is one game I enjoyed playing. So I put it in my A category. I think they're probably leading the mobile gaming world right now in terms of they don't have stuff out all the time, but their playtests look fun and interesting. It's not a game I'm going to touch every single day in terms of I don't play mobile games every day. But from the time I spent in it, I did. Now, I will say I don't like the fact that it's a button masher, like where when you're playing it, you just press the same button over and over and it auto fights for you. That can get very boring. So I think they need to add lore. I don't care about guilds jumping into dungeons and you having to go through guilds to do shit. Like come up with a really cool lore storylines for each one of the characters, different ways to play and contrast like different play styles. I think as they build it out and it becomes more robust, it'll be really cool. I like what they did with the esports thing, kind of like getting some sort of like PR there. And it's cool to like see these orgs somewhat interested, but I have no clue how esports will even work. And I don't think they have a full idea of that either, because like they said,
Right.
the esports thing initially is, hey, we're just getting skins that are from these esports orgs in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of just my thought on it.
No, and I kind of feel the same with you. I'm not a huge mobile gamer. I have trouble seeing where the esport element of this game is. Like I don't really understand
same.
what they're going to do. And I've been in two of the play tests as well. I like the game. I think it's fun. I enjoyed it. But yeah, you're right. It's very button message. It's button mashing heavy. And I'm a little skeptical of how they're going to incorporate the esports. That made me bullish on it, seeing all these big esports companies come through. But a lot of that I could contribute to, like, well, maybe they're just throwing money at these people, right? And they're like, all right, here's some money, boom, we'll get you some assets, and can we announce that you're part of? I think that gives people like a lot of aspect. But I think in general the game has been developed well, and I think that it can be a really fun mobile game for sure. So I would agree with you. I think A tier is solid for the game, and I hope to see more game modes, more things being expanded on the core loop that they have right now.
We're on the same page, Stash, for sure.
All right. Going over to Phantom Galaxies. What do you think about this game? Have you played this game at all?
I haven't. I watched some of Stash play it, and I watched Kaggy's like gameplay demo. I think it's pretty solid though from what I've seen. So I would probably put this in the B category. I think it has a lot of potential to be an A, or even potentially even higher, because the game does play very well from what I've seen. But I don't know enough about it to like really boost it up any further than a B. So like from what I've seen so far, it's a B. I'm excited to see it continue growing and they cultivate the game even further. But really solid so far. I'm impressed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would disagree with you. I would give this probably an A tier at this point, man. At the very least, I think they've done a really good. Like when you talk about like the playability of this game and the inclusion of tokenomics, and slowly staging in NFTs and then their token and doing just the right amount of sales. The game itself is actually I mean I'm a little biased. I love flying a giant Gundam like this that transforms back into a rocket ship. I mean the gameplay for me, I really enjoy it. And then the space MMO aspect is great there. They've really building a really great storyline too. And that I think is what they have over a lot of other games in this list, is that most of these games have not really built out much story. Like really get you to invest in the characters, invest in the story.
There's like a lore, there's a deeper lore into it. Nice.
Oh yeah. Like right now
I literally have not played it, so I don't know.
It's progressed through, and they've done a great job of like including more stuff of its progress, and then like you expanding out and talking to more things, and like really just building that lore in. I think they've done a great job of that for where the state of the game is at right now. I mean, I really do. So I think there's a lot of potential with Phantom Galaxies. Yeah.
Love to Phantom Galaxies. I put them in B, but like I said, I'm ignorant to the game. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. All right, going to Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained. You talked a little bit about it earlier. What do you think about GU as a game? Where would you rate it?
I hate having to do this with the card game thing. For me, I know they had an issue with their tokenomics at one point. I am not big on card games. I think that they have a place. It's just not my thing. I don't think card games are going to revolutionize Web3. It's not a. It's hard. It's hard for me. I'm gonna put this one probably at a C. Just being honest with you.
Go and C. Okay. Put it on the same level.
I'll probably get some flick back. Yeah, I don't know enough about it to put it above Splinterlands. And that was my thing. Splinterlands is probably the most successful of all the card games. So I felt that moving it above it would be almost like, it's almost like a disservice to what Splinterlands is doing. Now, I will say, like, for card games, those are the highest two card games I have rated on my list. And I'm not a huge card game player. And I'm very ignorant to both of those games. I played them both once. And the learning curve was, like, very much hard to pick up initially. So I just, like, kind of let it go. So it is a thing of like, I'm very biased.
No, I feel you. No, it's a classic TCG, and you have to know a ton about this to be successful. A ton about this. Hey, Grant James, thanks so much for the donor there, man. He's asking about Benamon Fire Wars. Have you heard about have you heard of Benamon Fire Wars? I know Benamon, but I don't know about the Fire Wars update. Do you know anything about Benamon?
I don't, but I mean, I'll put it on my list just because he dropped a really cool donation in the chat for sure. I'll put it on my list.
Interesting. No, I'll have to go revisit them because I had checked out the previous game, but not the updated one. As far as Gods Unchained, I actually really enjoy TCGs, so I would I would rank it higher. It's going to be a B or A for me. I mean, this is the
Okay.
company that Immutable X came out of. You know, they saw that there wasn't a good enough technology out there to make the game they needed to, and they went to the back to the drawing board and created Immutable, which is now going to be probably one of the biggest, you know, gaming platforms
they're
in
huge.
Web3 as far as how much they're onboarding and the technology they have. It's them and Polygon going.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's no one even close. It's just like a 2-horse race right now.
Yeah. So interesting, man. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like card games, and a lot of people just don't. They're, you know, it's a very, you know, people who play card games and then like FPS players, and then
I like them when I know them.
Like,
I like them when I know them, you know, like I feel like it's a thing of like, if I get the vibe initially and it's easy enough for me to pick up, I'm like, all right, I can jump in. But the thing is, it's like, to really get to the point where you really enjoy something, it takes spending hours and hours and hours like playing it and going through it. And sometimes I don't want to do that. I want to be like a mindless gamer and just jump in and shoot shit.
Right. And that's how it is with Gods Unchained. You have to have a lot of knowledge to get past that beginner's level. And, you know, every time they release a new set, things like that too. And that's just TCGs in general. So it can be very daunting. It can be very daunting for sure. All right, last three. We got three left here. Other Side.
Big boys.
What do you think about Other Side? A little bit different than the other games on here too. You know, more of a metaverse than it is, you know, playable game. But what do you think?
Thought graphics were sick. I thought what we've seen so far has been promising. I like it enough to put it in the B category. I still think they have a lot of shit they need to like solve for.
Yes.
But it's stuff that I couldn't even explain on this call. I was between a B and a C, and I think like the graphics, I think it from a graphical standpoint, if they launched something right now where it was just land like Sandbox, they could compete with Sandbox just because of the fact of the way that their metaverse is shaped out. I think that they're underestimating gamers' actual care for fucking ape projects or apes or playing an ape game. I mean, they could just keep playing Fortnite, but I think there's enough there to put it at as a B. And we'll see what happens from there. I do think it's interesting enough, though.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. I think B for me as well. I'm solid on that. You know, I like the technology that I saw behind this, and that kind of lends to me more being a fan of Improbable and the M2 technology.
Yeah.
I interviewed the CEO Herman on my channel last week, and we had a really great chat about all things metaverse. I'm less enthusiastic about the JPEG monkey part, and more enthusiastic about, you know, it being a real social metaverse that could be interesting and really support a lot of players and give a new unique experience. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. I own some land on the Other Side. That's like the only you know, Bored Ape or Yuga Labs asset I've ever purchased. I do have some land there. So yeah.
I'll be waiting on the other side for stash.
But if I can't get a damn monkey with a mustache on it, I'm out. I'm selling my land, damn goodness. It. I've legit had to make requests of games like this and say, look, guys, I like your game, but I need a mustache or I'm going to have to leave.
I feel that.
And they're like, all right, we got you, man. And in particular, some of the ones coming up, and we've talked a little bit about that. So, all right, last two on our list, Illuvium.
Ooh. Solid A for me.
Solid A.
Otherworld, like just the snippets are looking crazy. I think the auto battle are sick, but that's not the reason I'm excited for it. I want to see what happens in Otherworld. I want to see what happens with lore and everything else they're building out. No questions asked, no brainer A. Another really cool project coming out of IMX.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. I think that Illuvium is going to be great. When you talk about that Pokemon style experience in open world and then catching all the Mons, I think Illuvium has done the best out of like making that type of clone type of game, you know? And I mean, I played the closed beta. I know a lot of people in chat are like, when can we get closed beta access? Tons of people always want it. And it's cool. It's fun. But I want the open world stuff, man. You know, that part is just a small part, I think, of the game. And the open world is really what we want, I think.
100% agree with that.
Yeah. A couple people in chat are asking about War Riders. You ever heard of War Riders?
I've heard the name. I have not checked the game out, though. I have heard the name of it, though.
Fun game. That's one that I actually has been around for a long time, and I've had the pleasure of playing it since very early days. And it's kind of like you know, Twisted Metal meets Wasteland, And so you're driving around
Yeah.
in this wasteland looking to like mine these little mining spots, and you got your vehicle and it's decked out with guns and shit. And you're just shooting the other guys, and it's pretty easy to jump into. It's actually quite a bit of fun. They've done some great updates. But my problem with them recently is they have not moved over to like Polygon or Immutable. It's still on layer 1 Ethereum, and that is just unacceptable.
Interesting. Okay.
Unacceptable at this point. All right, last one. I think you know what it is.
Oh, another one I really like.
My Pet Hooligan.
Putting in the A. It's an A for me straight away. It gave me GTA.
Yep.
Granted, you're playing with like bunnies, but it gave me GTA vibes. Like I made some content on it where I love that there's proximity chat. I was in there like in the bar shooting at people. One dude was like, "Stop killing me! Stop killing me!" I just start fucking with them. So I mean, I think that game's a no brainer. A. I haven't bought assets in it because I'm just too cheap, and I think like once an asset hits my like goes over my price horizon, I'm like I don't want to see. I'm not buying it again unless. And then I sit there and hope the game goes down in value so that I can get the asset.
Get in there, yeah. I'm like, can I get in at the $40 level? Is there a $40 level option? You know, can you break me off some? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we get the same price as most games? I don't know. Yeah, I like My Pet Hooligan. When I first saw them, you know, it was actually at a live demo, and I was like, this is hot. This is actually really good. And I talked to the team, and I was like, I need to talk to you guys more because their character animations, like they really come from an animation background, which you can tell in the game.
Yeah.
Super solid gameplay, very smooth. The characters are amazing and fun. They did a great job of like creating that lore, creating a fun environment. But I did tell the team the same thing, guys, I need a hooligan. I need a hoolie with a stash. Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I might put them in S tier. Out of a lot of these games, I think they have.
They're really damn good. It was really close for me. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Like it could be an S tier game for sure.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, agents. We have gone through. We've rated 25 of the somewhat top games in the industry. Some of them, just because they're bigger in numbers. What's going on? But we did it. And thank you, Brycent, for coming here and joining us for doing this tier rating. Like I said, we may get some flack, but that's okay.
Oh,
because
100%.
I think you rated these games fair.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm thankful that I could come on the show. You guys are always super hospitable every time I come through. Shout out to all the secret agents. If you're not a secret agent, I highly recommend that you join that because Stash is adding a ton of value to the Web3 gaming community. Again, whether you love my predictions or hate them, I appreciate you just hanging out and just being a part of consuming any of my thoughts in the space because I understand that ultimately it's a blessing and a gift to be here. And you guys can just tell me to fuck off at any moment. So I'm thankful. Thank you so much, Stash.
Yeah, no worries, man. We do this because we love it, because it's fun, it's interesting. Hopefully you guys think it's fun and interesting as well. That's why we do this. We're not over here, raking in the big bucks all the time, guys. Web3 content creation is a very small game. Trust me, I know. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I like where the industry is going. I like having friends come on the channel. I like hearing your guys' thoughts in chat. That's big. Right? It's all about creating our community together. That is the biggest thing, and that's why I like doing this stuff, with other people and other creators in the space. So make sure you guys, send a sub over to Brycent's way if you're not following him or subscribing to him on YouTube or on Twitch or on Twitter. The links are below in the description. Make sure you go hit those. Yeah, and yeah. If you're not following me already, you should be as well, for sure. And hit the like button here on that video so we can get that. And if you guys want, check out the memberships here on YouTube, because we're having a lot of fun with that. We're going to keep expanding that and giving some more cool things to our agents, here in YouTube and also in Discord. And we're going to be looking at using some loot bolt technology coming up here pretty soon too. So I'm excited. I'm ready to talk to you about that.
I got to show you that
pretty soon. So I want to see a little bit of that. So I saw a little bit of it on your channel, but on Twitter. But I definitely want to get a full demo, man. I'm excited about that. So
all right, agents, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah, let's do it. I think that's all we have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.